friends, I am Dr. Biren from Unique Shiksha. I welcome you all in IES Mains GS Learning Series. This series helps improving the answer writing skills of civil services aspirants. If you are also looking to score 570 marks in general studies, then watch it regularly. Friends, we will discuss a IES main question for GS paper second for Indian polity and governance. The question is, critically examine the provisions of National Security Act in context of fundamental right to life and liberty. This question you need to write in 150 words and it carries 10 marks. So let's see how to write a effective answer for this question. For writing a effective answer in IAS mains examination, one need to develop a blueprint before writing. So let's consider. In introductory part, you should describe the right to life and liberty. In body part, in 80-90 words, you should discuss the main objective and provisions of National Security Act. Secondly, you should also discuss how does National Security Act affects right to life and liberty. In conclusion, in 40-50 words, you should conclude your arguments, and besides that, you should also suggest remedies to improve as a way forward. So let's see how we can develop it into a full-fledged answer.
Before jumping upon the answer writing, let's understand right to life and liberty. Right to life is fundamental to our existence, without which we cannot live as human beings. The Constitution of India under Article 20 provides protection against conviction of offences, that a person should be free and adequate protection should be given to them before conviction of any offence. Second, Article 21 of the Constitution of India provides that no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to procedure established by law. Means that a person can only be deprived of his life and personal liberty on the basis of the law of the parliament or the legislature. The Supreme Court has interpreted right to life as humans, not as animals. It has elaborated the Article 21 of the Constitution by including right to human dignity in Khadak Singh versus State of Uttar Pradesh. Right to health, that is Sunil Batra versus Delhi administration. Right to livelihood, Olga Tallis versus Bombay Municipal Corporation. And right to clean environment or air in MC Mehta versus Union of India. So we can see that right to life and liberty has been interpreted in a wide manner. It includes living with human dignity, right to health, right to livelihood, and right to clean environment. You can introduce your answer by explaining what constitutes the right to life and liberty. This right constitutes that a person should not be detained without any valid reasons. Article 20 of the Constitution of India provides protection in respect of conviction of offences, that is, to make a arrest of a person. It provides that a person cannot be arrested if a law was not there at the time of committing that offense. It means no criminal law can be made from retrospective effect, that is from back date. Second provision is that no person can be punished for the same offense more than once. It is called prohibition of double jeopardy under Article 20 clause 2nd. Third is that no person shall be forced to give evidence against himself or herself by torturing them under Article 20, Clause 3. So this article basically provides that no person should be arrested in absence of valid reasons. Now there is Article 21 as well, which provides protection in terms of right to life and liberty under article, as we have already discussed, that no person can neither be deprived of his life, that is, a state cannot kill him or her without a law enacted by the parliament. The same is true with making a arrest of this person. So this article provides right against illegal detention. It has been interpreted Joginder Kumar versus State of Uttar Pradesh, and Supreme Court made guidelines for arrest that information should be given to a relative or friend about the arrest, and a entry should be made in the register at the police station. Second is, this also accord right to free legal aid and right to appeal. A person arrested should be given free legal aid if he or she is not in a position to have legal aid by its own. Moreover, he must be given the right to appeal. It was upheld by the Supreme Court of India in M.H. Hoskote versus State of Maharashtra. Next is that this article also accords right to bail under Article 21, that is, in case of Babu Singh versus State of Uttar Pradesh, the Supreme Court upheld that every person who has been arrested or detained must have right to bail. Next is, moreover, a arrested person should be given a fair trial. This was upheld by the Supreme Court of India in Zahira Habibullah Sheikh versus State of Gujarat. Next is, the arrested person should be given right to speedy trial. It was upheld by the Supreme Court of India in Hoshianara Khatun versus Home Secretary, State of Bihar. So we can see that various protection has been accorded under Article 21, though they are not specifically mentioned in Constitution of India, but they have been interpreted and elaborated by time to time by Honorable Supreme Court of India. In body of your answer, you can describe what is the main objective of National Security Act. Basically, National Security Act is a preventive detention law which allows for detention of a person in certain cases. It allows to detain a person to prevent him from acting in any manner prejudicial to defense of India. It means that if a person is dangerous for the defense of India, then he can be detained. Secondly, if that person is detrimental to relations of India with foreign powers, if any person is dangerous to the security of India, then it can also be detained under NSA. If there is a possibility that the person can disrupt public order or maintenance of supplies and services essential to the community, it means that if there is a apprehension that a person can disturb the civil supplies essential to community, then he or she can be detained under the provisions of National Security Act. Now let's see that how national provisions of National Security Act are detrimental or inconsistent with right to life and liberty, but as preventive detention laws are meant to protect and preserve the sovereignty and security of India, so they are themselves allowed in the Constitution of India as an exception to life and liberty. However, these preventive detention laws must also have requisite safeguards. In next point in the body of the answer, you should briefly discuss provisions of National Security Act affecting right to life and liberty. First point is detention order is made by district magistrate or district collector, not by the judicial officer, which is usually the case. Further, detention order can be slapped against a person even in police custody, or a person who is out on bail by a trial court, or a person who has already been acquitted by a trial court. It means that whether a person is on bail or in police custody or acquitted, even then detention order can be made. So it gives very extensive powers to district magistrate and divisional commissioners. Second point is that when a person is detained under NSA, then for 10 days it can be held without telling the charges as well. It is against the provision of Criminal Procedure Code, which states that grounds of arrest should be informed to the person arrested. Even more interesting is that even a person can be detained without a charge up to 12 months, and no FIR is registered under NSA on this preventive detention. So you can see that how draconian provisions are there in National Security Act. Next is a person is need to be produced before a magistrate within 24 hours of arrest, but there is no provision in NSA like that. Even there is no appeal before a court which can be made by a arrested person, but an appeal before a high court advisory body can be made, but that is without a lawyer during the trial. So further, that no bail application can be moved under the provisions of the act, which is again against the provisions of Criminal Procedure Code under section 50, where this provides the right to get the bail by an arrested person. So you can see that the provisions of National Security Act not only violates the rights provided under Article 20 and 21, but also the provisions of Criminal Procedure Code. So in this sense we can see that the right to life and liberty are severely contained by the provisions of National Security Act. So far we have seen that how the provisions of NSA are inconsistent with the life and liberty as granted by the Constitution of India under Article 21, and further cemented by Article 20, which provides protection against the illegal arrest. So you can cite the cases of misuse of National Security Act provisions to substantiate your answer. Recently, Allahabad High Court has struck down orders and directed the release of detainees in nearly 80% of the cases related to cow slaughter and communal incidents in which the Uttar Pradesh government had invoked the draconian provisions of National Security Act over the last 3 years. It is to be noted that between January 2018 to December 2020, the Allahabad High Court has quashed orders of district magistrates in 94 cases of detention. Out of 120 habeas corpus petitions across 32 districts and ordered the release of detainees. In as many as 11 detentions, the court cited non-application of mind by the district magistrate while passing the order. So, with these evidences, we can see that how the provisions of National Security Act can be misused by the government in power. Therefore, the safeguard should be there. So let's discuss that what should be our conclusion. Now you can conclude your argument that in general NSA doesn't conform to the principles of natural justice and the right to life and liberty. However, NSA qualifies exemption under Article 21 as a preventive detention law. Therefore, its constitutional validity cannot be challenged. Secondly, NSA should be amended to strike a balance between national security and citizens' freedom, else it will remain there to silence political rivals. Now you can suggest remedies to improve as a way forward, like NSA to be strictly construed and meticulous compliance with the procedural safeguard has to be ensured. Besides, since it has become 4 decades of its existence and there are numerous cases of its misuse by the government in power, therefore this law can be reconsidered and can be repealed if possible. Now have a relook of answer structure. First, introduction. Describe the right to life and liberty. In body part, briefly describe the main objective and provisions of National Security Act. How does NSA affect right to life and liberty? And in conclusion, conclude your arguments and suggest remedies to improve as a way forward.
Friends, in this corona days where offline classes are not available, don't compromise with your study and join our IAS Live Foundation course, which provides a quality study material, live interactive classes with top teachers and doubt resolution session. It also includes more than 100 plus tests and 750 hours of course. So please join our course. Friends, you can avail our 7-day free trial. Please sign up at uniqueshiksha.com online foundation course to access live classes, personal mentoring, test and more. Register at uniqueshiksha.com online test to evaluate your IAS answer and prepare better. You can also challenge your friends to take IAS Prelims challenge. Friends, please subscribe our channel by pressing the bell icon and like, share and comment. Stay on course to realize your IAS goals. You can call on 8287360360 to avail any help. With these words, thanks for watching our video.